And I'm like, I've got repair orders from 8 years ago saying, hey, this thing is not something that we should be trying to keep on the road. It's kind of worn out. And so lo and behold, dude, shows up crying her eyes out. He died. I don't know what I'm going to do. 2 days later, shows up to get her car fixed and says that I've sold my 84-year-old lover new ARC and he's transferring the money into my account so I can fix my car. And I'm like,
just going to nursing homes or what's going on here?
Hold up. Well, like, seriously, I'm thinking about this. How does this work?
Hey, a huge thank you goes to Shop-Ware for sponsoring this video. In my opinion, they are the absolute best shop management system. Lucas and I both use it at our shops, and we believe it allows us to provide our customers with a unique experience unlike anything on the market right now. If you want to see what we mean, click on the link in the description below and schedule a demo today. And now, onto the video.
They can part it out piece by piece for $5,000 and eventually make the $7,000 or the $5,000. Yep. Like door panel, fender, wheels.
So back to the shop owner story.
It's a lot of work for $5,000.
I know it is, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only way you're going to get $5,000 out of the vehicle. Or they find the single mom that just got the check from the government, because that's what the situation was. I'm not stereotyping. I'm just saying this was a younger girl with a couple of kids, needed a vehicle, the kids around and the cousins and all that piled up into the Suburban. And she had $5,000 and she spent every flipping dime of that $5,000, not on a vehicle and then some repairs and maintenance. Because that's what I would have told her to do. Go buy a $1,000 vehicle and dump $4,000 into it. And you'll have a nice vehicle.
So it's funny you bring that up. You're talking about the waiting on the government check, right? I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to Derek, one of my friends the other day, the one that bought the shop that I was telling the story about, like, hey, he won this much for it. And I said, I went and looked at it. It wasn't whatever.
Okay.
And so we were talking about the fact that there is like a string of people in our community that goes church to church to church and charity to charity to charity saying, oh, I need help in my vehicle. And they just go from all of these churches to churches to churches begging somebody to pay to either fix their vehicle or, and here's the thing, is the problem's never solved. They always end up going to somebody else to need more money to fix the vehicle again. And I've got one in particular I'm thinking of, and a real sweet human being, but it's all about like, and they had a 90-year-old lover, right? And
what?
The 90-year-old lover was always paying to fix the car.
There's no loving at 90 years old. At 9 years old, you're just waiting to die.
I'm just telling you that's how she phrased this person, how she
This is my 90-year-old lover?
This is my 90-year-old lover. He's not from here. He's from another state. And he calls and pays the bill. Or he pays the bill online. Or he transfers the money into my account. And it was a very unusual situation because what it turned into is he begins to question all the repairs on her vehicle. And it's like, well, we've been telling her for years this thing is like junk. I understand it has sentimental value, but how far do you want me to go? I mean, we're $55,000 in this old like G-Van. And I'm like, I've got repair orders from 8 years ago saying, hey, this thing is not something that we should be trying to keep on the road. It's kind of worn out. And so lo and behold, dude, shows up crying her eyes out. He died. I don't know what I'm going to do. 2 days later, shows up to get her car fixed and says that I've sold my 84-year-old lover new ARC and he's transferring the money into my account so I can fix my car. And I'm like,
just going to nursing homes or what's going on here?
Hold up. Well, like, seriously, I'm thinking about this. How does this work? How is it that he dies, you're upset because you don't know where you're going to get money to survive. And so 2 days later, 2 days? Dude's not even in the ground yet.
That's because there was probably a backup or two. There's probably another one right behind him.
Do people act like... That's like
old men get lonely, dude.
I understand, but I'm
Okay,
saying, like,
well.
is that not the same as like the vagrants on the street? I mean, is that?
She has to work for that. Kudos to her.
She's got to do something for it. I mean,
You're telling me if you had a sugar mama, you would just.
What's that? No. What?
I mean, if you needed money and
I don't think I'll ever put myself in that particular situation. I'm perfectly okay going to go bag groceries at a grocery store.
you'd bag groceries before finding a sugar mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I that's my logic. I couldn't imagine.
Doing what she did?
Yeah, I don't have the looks or any of the traits that would make me valuable at all.
There's a reel that goes around. It was one reel. The guy shot it, and it's this like older lady. She's probably, I don't know, late 60s, early 70s, in like this really tight black dress, like tons of makeup on, just like grooving to music. And the caption is the guy's like dancing, like filming her dancing, and he's like like hanging out with the old lady because she's got this like mint C10 square body, just waiting for the opportunity to get that inheritance. Like he's paying his dues.
I'm gonna be in.
He's like filming the old lady.
I'm gonna be entirely vile. There's an older woman who owns restaurants near us, and she would come in and she would flirt with the young men in the restaurant as they were eating, right? And that was like the whole thing. And I'll never forget, she came in one time and she told my dad that he needed to knock the scabs off of it for her or something like that. And we're all sitting there and I'm like, whoa, hold up now. I mean, the cobwebs maybe, but the scabs.
We're not even an hour in. You gotta wait till the last hour to tell those stories. What is wrong with you?
Just telling you. I mean, we kind of got on the subject. Poor dude has not even been able to tell us how he started a shop yet.
I love this podcast. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Do you want me to not tell it? I mean, like, you want me to go back? You can go back in time and take it back? I mean, I don't know.
Yes, take it back.
I'll introduce you next time you're out.
Okay, so you're trying to help out the single mom who's crying on the single bench.
Whoa, we're not going that direction. Nobody said anything about the casting couch.
Well, I didn't go there. I didn't go there.
I thought that's where you were going. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
he was just trying to help out the single mom.
Yeah.
She was
Absolutely.
crying on the bench.
Yeah, so
Did she at some point say, "I'm just a single mom"?
she did not. And like part of
Had
the
she
story
been a
is-
single mom, that would have been the first thing that popped out of her mouth.
You're trying to make me spit my drink on another guest.
You've heard the song, right?
No, I've not heard the song.
Now you're a
Dave.
single mom? Oh, I'll play it for you. It's inappropriate for the podcast. We're trying to keep this professional. This is a business podcast. We have sponsors we have to consider. Sponsors.
You know, I don't know if you know this. Cecil is my business coach,
Yeah.
and he just shakes his head at me.
He doesn't listen to the podcast. That's the thing.
Thank God.
Kent does. Maybe. Sometimes. I think we slip a few by him. He doesn't know. He doesn't need to know. Nobody tell him. Anyway.
What were we talking about again?
I believe I was on the park bench with this lady in a professional manner, though.
It was purely a professional relationship.
Yes.
Bill Clinton said that once.
Yep. Monica.
Close, but no cigar.
But you know, trying, man.
Half of our listeners are too young to understand the reference. It'll
I
be
know.
fun.
That's an old reference. That's for old people. Sorry.
So going back to how I got my shop, all I did was explain the repair order to this lady, and she
Yeah.
goes out and tells me that her husband is actually overseas, fighting for our country, and he's the one that normally handles this. And it was a good reminder because it just let me know that, hey, we can't control anything outside of our box, outside of our four walls. And, we had no idea what this lady was up against. And it had the shop and just probably explained all this to her. It would have saved her a whole lot of heartache,
Yeah.
At the root of everything, it was a communication breakdown. So, I'd like to say that because that is something I saw daily going into, 10, 15 plus shops a day. And it was the same thing over and over again. So I just got to the point and I was like, hey, I can do this. I can do this better. And I come from a technical background. My dad was a dealership mechanic. So I grew up in the industry, grew up in the dealership world. And my dad always swore at me like, you are not getting into this industry. It is awful. And, it just, the whole 9 yards, it broke his body down. But the industry in the 90s is not the same industry as it is today. And it's a lot more technology based. But anyway, so fast forward. So I opened my own shop. We're doing pretty good. We opened it just outside of Chicago. And COVID comes along, January 2020.
Oh, man.
So I bought my second shop January 1st, 2020.
Holy cow.
And a few months into that, we very quickly realized that 2 shops and not a lot of cash because, we just spent all of our cash was not a good solution, not knowing where this pandemic was going to go. Yeah. So we ended up closing the one shop, merging it together, and we made it through. But, it really cost us a lot. And at the end of 2021, me and my wife at the time, we just decided that it was time to go south, and we got out of the shop, went south, and that's where I linked up with Christian Brothers, and then now I'm doing my own thing with Josh, and man, it's been great. It's been really great.
If you like that clip, you can watch the entire episode by clicking on the link in the description. We drop a brand new episode every single Monday evening. And if you want to escape our Google overlords, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast player. And we drop those episodes first thing Monday morning. Thank you to Shop-Ware for sponsoring this video. If you haven't seen all the new features that Shop-Ware has, now is a great time to check them out again. Click the link in the description and get set up with a demo. Leave us a like and a comment and make sure that you're subscribed.